But like I told you before, when I pulled you guys both over to my house and I ripped your asses apart, when I was talking with Nate, I go, Nate, you have a tendency of telling me what I want to hear, right?
Sure.
You're really good at telling me.
I'm a people person. I like to make people happy.
Yeah, well, you know what pisses me off? When somebody tells me what they think I want to hear.
Well, yeah.
And then they're wrong.
All right, guys, what's up? And welcome back to another episode of When I Grow Up, a show where we follow the story of Parker McGee, who dropped out of college and hopes to become a partner of TSR Concrete Coatings, the nation's largest residential concrete coatings company. And as always, in the house, we've got founder, CEO of TSR, Jeff Gear, my boy in the house holding it down. And of course, the star of the show, Parker McGee. And now today, we also have Nate. And now we'll get to talking about Nate. You guys probably heard a little bit about him on the last show. On the last episode, he's sitting right next to me. For those of you who don't know, this is Nate's first podcast. So we're going to give him a lot of shit on this show. But it's well-deserved. I'm fucking with you, bro. We like you.
Thank heavens.
All right, Jeff, Parker, we're on live. Nate, how is everybody feeling? Yeah?
I'm fantastic. It's actually good to talk shit about Nate to Nate's face this time.
I'm nervous as hell.
No, this is going to be a good show, man. And, as I always tell our viewers and listeners, it's not just about having a podcast. It's not just about having this story, but it's really wanting to create a, we have this story here. I mean, we have a young entrepreneur who dropped out of college who wants to be a business owner. I mean, there's a phenomenal story in there. And it's not just about that story. It's just hopefully the inspiration that will come out of it for other people who are going to listen to this, who have hopes and dreams and goals. And so hopefully Parker's either success or his fuck ups is really going to, speak to somebody out there who this podcast is going to really resonate with. So with that being said, now that we've really set up the stage for this show, this episode, Jeff, what happened last week that we just kind of grilled Parker on?
Man, we had a tough week last week.
We did. We did.
I went back and I listened to it, and I was like, oh, man. Parker and Nate did a terrible job. They actually did an awful... I think they really just had a tough time jiving with each other right out of the gate. And Parker was used to one way, working with Wink. He came to working with Nate. And, Nate, like I said on the last podcast, you didn't get to hear it yet, you're a 180. Your stuff's never going to be, your trailer's never going to be as clean as Wink's, right?
Well, I can't. I'm working on it.
He's working on it. Okay, fair enough. But there's an admission there. I wasn't thrilled with the quality that you and Parker were putting out. You guys were really struggling to get together on the job sites and put out a product that I would be proud of. We did go back and we fixed everything. So there was that, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter who we work with. We still have to be able to put out what we would consider TSR quality on every single floor. So
and consistency of quality, right?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, so we really struggled with quality in the first week and a half with these two being together, and we struggled with attitude. Quite frankly. They weren't jiving on any level, and we can talk about why that happened since Nate's here, and he can either defend himself or I don't think there's really a defense, but we can talk about what the experience was like for him as well.
Mm-hmm. And now Parker, just jumping over to you. Last week was the last episode I should say was out of the norm in the aspect that it wasn't all rainbows and sunshine for you. I mean, we grilled you, man. I mean, Jeff really went down your throat. I mean, he was very honest. And when I say he went down your throat, it wasn't from a mean perspective. I mean, he was just very honest. And I think the reason he's honest is because you are a friend of his. But more importantly, he sees a lot of potential in you. And I think that was the underlining reason and cause as to why, for lack of a better word, he was... No, I won't say angry. Very upset and let down, right? Is that fair to say?
Yep.
Yeah.
I'd like to say disappointed.
Yeah. Yeah.
because we started off like fire. You know, it was awesome. Like everything was going good, and then I don't know. I thought, man, maybe Parker's just not feeling it anymore. Who knows?
Yeah. So what was your kind of summary of last episode of what really happened that went through your mind, Parker?
I mean, I think this fits every business owner's story, right? There's going to be struggle. What are we hitting right now? We're hitting struggle. So, and I think me and Nate finished on a really high note. We laid a few like really, really awesome floors that me and him, at the end of the day, we got in the truck and we were like, that was a baller floor. Like I can go home and know that Jeff's not going to come back and be like, what the hell is this? Mm-hmm. So I think we definitely finished on a high note. Hopefully that's the only struggle we go through, right?
Yeah. But we know that's not reality.
Yeah, we can only hope. Though.
Oh, we got plenty of struggles coming up. We got some cool things that we're gonna do next week. So,
So, Parker, I want you to talk to me a little bit about. So, you went from Wink. Wink is very disciplined. He's meticulous. He's very organized on really everything. To his trailer, to how he does a job, to everything he does. It just really seems like he's the top guy here at TSR. And now, Nate, and here's where you start getting pushed under the bus very slowly here. But again, you know, as we tell our viewers and listeners, we're gonna keep it 100% real with them. And my advice to you is everything that we say here, man. Hopefully, you just take it as a note to grow and improve yourself.
All right.
And you know, because if you don't, Jeff's going to fire you.
100%.
And so, I mean, we'll just put that out there, right? I think Jeff's cool with mistakes. He's cool when you fuck up, but I think, you know, knowing Jeff, I think one thing he's not cool with is when you do fuck up, A, you don't own up to it, and B, if you don't grow from it, you're fucking gone. Because
Right.
I mean,
No, I've grown.
he's spent years building this company, and there's no way, you know, you're gonna bring it down.
We can't fix stupid. I mean, you just can't. If you know that there's an issue, here's the path to fix it, and we're not growing and getting better from that, then you probably need to go work somewhere different.
Yeah. So I mean, let's put it all on the table and really hash this out. So Parker, what did you really experience in the time working with Wink that you just really did not get in working with Nate?
So I actually kind of wrote down a few things while I was at lunch when I got the text that Nate was going to be coming on.
I thought he was texting one of his girlfriends.
Mid-podcast. So a few of the bad things that I took from working from him and Wink, and I've kind of already told him this. I kind of told him that it's not, when Jeff rips you, it's not always about the mistakes on the floor. Like, he's not necessarily saying you lay a shit floor, but it's more so the other stuff that he's talking about where Wink excels maybe further than anyone else in the company at. Stocking his truck, that's Wink's second to none at that. He's back at the shop every day, spending a few hours even if it takes that, and he's making sure that thing's locked and loaded for the next project. I know we ran out of mender the one day after you guys did that basement in Sebula, Iowa. So I would just say stocking your truck really earns the respect of your second, makes them show that you really care about what you're doing. Your clean cut process and attention to detail, and you've gotten way better at your attention to detail just after Jeff said something. You've really started making sure stuff was really cleaned up and looked better than if Chip was laying out or something like that. Clean cut process, I would say right when the van door's open, you're ready, you know what you're gonna do. It's some days I feel like we're like switching it up a lot. And I know, I mean, that's maybe how you like it, maybe something different every day, but I would say a clean cut process every day before you even get there, knowing what the expectations are going to be is great. Patience with customers. Sometimes, I mean, customers aren't always the best people to work with. Obviously, we know that as business owners, but I would say patience when they're upsetting you at the end of the day, just smile and wave. The good, Jeff already said it. You're all about TSR. You love it. You'd die for TSR, and I really actually believe that. You know how to open up to a customer, so that's kind of on the swing end of things. When you when we get to the customer's house, you're right there smiling. They're like, "Oh yeah, what's up, Nate?" Maybe saying 22. And you're an extremely hard worker. You're up there with Wink for sure. I would say you're. Oh no, take a break. I'll do this. Take a break. I'll do that. You're always right there doing the hardest jobs, and you're a crew lead, so that's awesome to see.
Appreciate that.
So we'll get right on over to you, Wink. Sorry, Nate.
No.
But Jeff, I want you to kind of comment or affirm or deny or whatever everything Parker just said, or do you really affirm what he just said, or is there anything?
Well, I think that first of all, when you work with somebody, and he, by the way, he has to go work with them again tomorrow. So, but I hope that
Awkward.
I hope that Nate, yeah, I hope that Nate takes the positive things and the criticism that he was just given, because it's not easy, one, to go work with somebody tomorrow and that you worked with them today and know that you have to do this podcast, and then say the things that Parker just said, and then if knowing full well that there is a potential that Nate could take that the wrong way, right? But I think that it shows that Parker cares enough about this process and TSR and enough about Nate to say the things that he just said, and I think that if I'm Nate and I say, okay, well, if my second doesn't think that I stocked the trailer well enough and it can cause issues on the job site, that's something really easy to fix, right?
Right, yep.
We have to be more vigilant. Literally at the end of every job, what do we need for tomorrow?
Right.
You live 10 minutes away from here.
Right.
It's not a big deal for you to come here and make sure. There's other trailers and other locations that we have that have a much harder time with restocking their truck and trailer. Attention to detail. He said it was bad, but it's gotten better. So that's criticism that even though you didn't hear it, that you took the last time that we filmed this podcast, and you've grown and gotten better at it. So the fact that he mentioned it again and that you've grown from it, that's a very positive sign for me. So even though it was listed as a con, it's getting better, and hopefully as we proceed, it'll definitely be a pro of yours. Right. Like I told you before, when I pulled you guys both over to my house and I ripped your asses apart, when I was talking with Nate, I go, Nate, you have a tendency of telling me what I want to hear, right?
Sure.
You're really good at telling me.
I'm a people person. I like to make people happy.
Yeah, well, you know what pisses me off? When somebody tells me what they think I want to hear.
Well, yeah.
And then they're wrong.
well, yeah. I mean, let's let Jeff finish his thought here, because fuck, why do I want to keep calling you Wink? Nate.
Call him Nader Tots.
I want Jeff to finish out his thought here, because I'm real listening, and he's saying a whole bunch of good stuff. But I want you to take keynote to what he's saying, because I want you to comment on everything they're saying here. So Jeff, go ahead. Let's finish you out.
And then the last two things, it's the same process every day. Now, I might contradict Parker a little bit on that, because one, not every job is the same. Okay, I think we can all agree on that. But also, there could potentially have been reasons why we were doing it a little bit different every day, because we're not going to start and I'm sure Nick can comment to this, based on what Parker needs to learn and progress, we potentially might not be doing it the exact same way every single day. Mm-hmm. But I would hope that the processes, the grinding, the clearing, the base and chip, all of those things, the actual processes were the same on every job site. So
the only thing, the reason why I was giving him different jobs is because I knew he was going to be a crew lead, and I wanted to give him a lot of experience doing different things. Yeah. Like today, he squeegeed. Beautiful job. How many times you've done it? Twice?
4 or 5.
Oh, really?
Three or 4 maybe.
Oh, well, I thought it was only a couple times, but he did really well for that. But yeah, no. So
yeah, so I definitely thought that that's probably why maybe the process wasn't the same. And as Parker goes out, and we're going to talk about what he's going to do next week, he'll understand that portion a little better. And then the last thing is patience. I can't even tell you how many times a customer has got me riled up in for no apparent reason other than that they can, and there was wasn't even our I wouldn't even want to say fault, but just realistically, like they know that they can do it. And like I told you guys at the house, when you guys came over that night, if you're not going to jive with every customer, I'm not going to get along with every customer. And even when it's me that they want to talk to, sometimes they get to me and they're like, well, the freaking response was the same that Brandy gave me.
How ironic.
Yeah. But what I was telling both of them is I said, if it's not going well, luckily you have 2 or 3 people with you, and especially somebody who's an aspiring TSR owner of a location, it's okay to say, you know what, maybe I'm not the guy that's going to work with this individual as well as potentially Parker could. Let's pass this buck off to him. He clearly wants it, and then let's move on. Yeah. And let's get the customer straight, and then let's just go home and not waste any more time with it. So those kind of things. I think the pros are awesome.
Yeah.
Loyalty, without question. Okay, you're always 100% positive, and you are an extremely hard worker. Now, of all those 8 things, if you can take the 3 that you're good at, and the other 5 that you lack a little bit in, then let's push forward.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So Nate, you just heard both from Parker and Jeff. A lot of good things, but the good things are the good things. Great, that's awesome, right? But we're not here because of the good things they're doing,
right?
Right? We're not. You're not on this podcast because you're just such a wonderful, happy-go-lucky guy, right? Let's get down, to the facts, man. Some of the work you're doing sucks. Some of your attention to detail sucks. So, having heard of everything they just said, what's going on? What are you thinking? What's causing this? Can you refute anything they said?
I just need to slow down. That's pretty much it. And we lay awesome floors. It's just little stupid stuff. Clear on the driveway one time. You dab it up. You can only clean it a certain way. It's just carelessness. If you ask me, I'll admit it. I thought I was great at attention to detail, but I guess I wasn't as good as I thought. So I'm kind of not glad it happened, but it's making me a better crew lead and a better person to show Parker the way to do it the right way.
So just because I am this type of guy, I like to be very straightforward with people. Like, are you saying you're learning from this because you're on this show and Jeff's here and you just hoping he doesn't fire you, or just is it like actually you're really feeling like remorse, if you will?
I feel like shit because I had to have a meeting with Jeff in the first place. It shouldn't be happening. I mean, I feel like dog shit. That's all I can say, and all I can do is get better. Mm-hmm. That's it.
So, you said in the beginning that you just need to slow down. Let's go down that journey a little bit. So, literally, if you just slow down, you'll just do better? Or is there details that you're forgetting to mention?
No, the details, like I said, we're doing great floors. It's just like getting clear on the wall or clear on where it's not supposed to be. And we try to clean it up, but when you try to clean it up, sometimes it doesn't. And I just got to make sure that I can't rely on cleaning up.
Well, I think what he's trying to say, Mark, is that in our business, you have to slow down when you're working with these type of chemicals, especially when you're mixing them together and then they're in the bucket and then you're carrying that bucket to a said place. If you're constantly in a rush all the time, you're just gonna spill shit everywhere. You're gonna spill it in your truck. You're gonna spill it in your trailer. You're gonna get it on your hands. I mean, look at his hands. Look at his arms. Mm-hmm. Again, that's a you have to. If you're slow down enough, you can avoid some of that. Okay, you can avoid almost all of it really, and your attention to detail will be a lot higher. Like I was telling these guys at the house, you're not doing jobs that are going to require you to be there until 5 or 6 o'clock with 2 people. You're just not. 1 o'clock max. I go, and if you guys literally took an extra 45 minutes per day, which I think you guys have because you've been coming in later and later, you're not going to run into any of those problems, and they haven't. So that's the positive things that have come out of the last time that we shot this episode.
Honestly, I wish this stuff never happened, but at the end of the day, you're gonna get better floors at the end of the day from now on for me. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna be like Ryan. I'm gonna be on his ass Monday. I'm gonna show him how to do it my way. And Parker and I, we didn't click the first week. I think is because he came from Wink, and I've learned from Wink too. I've learned, that's who I started with, and some things you let go, like mender things. And and Parker. He didn't know any better. He was just asking me a question. I thought he was
telling you
questioning me. Yeah. And then I even had Chad Musser come and show him, hey, yeah, we really don't need to mender that. But,
So you felt like he was challenging your authority, if you will, or more so the expertise.
Then asking a question.
Yeah, absolutely. And when really he was just genuinely
and he was
asking.
Wondering. Yeah. And then the next day I thought about that night. I'm like, I was kind of a dick to Parker about that.
So how did you handle that?
The next day I told him, I'm like, well, this is how it's going to be. I'm the lead. You listen to what I say. If I tell you not to mentor it, don't mentor it, or whatever. Pretty much. And then I thought about how I said it. I'm like, maybe he's just wanting to know because he's new. So then I'm like, you know what, Parker, I'm sorry. Because I thought about that next day because I have a guilty conscience. I have a conscience from hell.
So now we're 3 days into this.
No, this was like the first week. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, but after that, after we had that thing, I just think we were clicking ever since.
Parker, would you agree with that or not really?
Yeah, I mean, we had that discussion. I think we even mentioned it maybe last or 2 weeks ago on that last podcast. But yeah, I mean, he got in the truck and he said pretty much what he just mentioned there. And I said the same thing back. I said, I obviously come from someone different and I've seen different stuff. So I was just more so asking than anything. But obviously I can see if you took that in the wrong way. But
I was like shocked because Wink's the one that, kind of told me, this is the stuff you don't really got to mentor.
Okay.
So I mean, yeah.
So
maybe he got himself bound up a few times, and he's like, "Yo, maybe I should have been doing it."
Wink is, I think Parker came over from Wink kind of expecting just a level of quality and leadership that perhaps you didn't have. And do you think that kind of
I was a rookie.
Set the tone as to why you guys perhaps got off on the wrong foot.
For me, I've had two different seconds in two months, so I really can't get used to somebody, But at the end of the day, Parker he's probably one of the best seconds in the company right now. I would put him against anybody.
Mm-hmm. So just got a question for you here, Nate. What would you say is like the best thing that you have personally learned as a result of being with Parker and just really having this conversation on this podcast?
Well, Parker's a smart guy. He comes up with ideas all the time, and I have to filter him out and think about what is good. But he comes up with a lot of good ideas. Do you want me to give some pros to him, or?
I mean, why not? Go for it, because
honestly, I found out he's gonna be a crew lead. I think probably like last week he said something about it. I was like, that's kind of soon, but after working with him, I mean, he made me a better crew lead since he started. So
how so?
Because not because you tearing my ass apart and stuff, but the stuff that we've done, like he just knows his stuff. Like I don't have to tell him nothing really.
Well, I would hope that when you say he's made you a better crew lead, one of the things I would just outside looking in from your guys' relationship is that he can give criticism, but then you can also take that and learn from that, and then it's going to help you be a better leader because you're going to get a new second,
right?
Third one in 3 months, right?
Hopefully,
because I keep taking them from you.
But I'm going to keep this one for a while, maybe
potentially. But we don't know. So you're going to have to work on being a good leader and your communication skills, like you said. Right away in the beginning. You guys were bumping heads right away, and then you went home and you thought about it, and you're like, maybe that wasn't the best way to handle that. I think that as we progress as a company, as TSR Nation progresses, that we need leaders that are going to be out there that are going to be better trainers on the job at the time,
right? And
not blow up on somebody or say things that maybe they shouldn't have, in the heat of the moment.
The thing is, I kind of understood. I mean, I understood where he's coming from, but it was just like,
you questioning my authority?
Yeah, I felt like Cartman. My authority.
So, this has been great to just really talk about this. I mean, is there anything that you really hoping and wishing you can say to Nate that you haven't said, Parker?
No, I mean, he knows he just needs to keep going. I mean, on the same path that we've started a week ago after hitting a few bumps. We bounced back and then just kind of need to keep that same thing going. I know Rhino's going to be just as good as I am, so they'll be laying the same quality for sure.
So, you may not know this, Nate, but before we move Parker to a next stage, we always need to get approval from the last teacher, if you will. And in this case, that was you. So based on everything that you guys did together, based on the work he did, was he timely? Was he neat? Was he tidy? Did he build relationships with the customers? Was he happy? Did he all in all bring the TSR quality that Jeff expects out of the team members? Did Parker bring that to the team?
Yeah. He like right out the gate, he's asking questions all the time. He wants to know how to do it, and he's trying to learn from different people's, how they work, how they do things, so he can do it his own way. But yeah, he's gonna be. There's nothing I would change about him. He knows the whole spiel. I mean, he's pretty quick with cutting around, and he doesn't miss. Didn't have to do much with that, but
yeah, because he can't move. I mean, Jeff pretty much is giving you, I think, the authority right now to either
he's
allow
ready.
Parker to move on to the next stage.
I mean, he talked some shit about you last time, so if you don't want him to
no,
go,
that's fine. I deserve all that. I mean, trust me, but no, Parker's ready. Yeah, and if we can work Friday, we're not scheduled Friday, but I told him, hey, let's if you want to work Friday, let's get one more done.
Oh, one last hurrah, huh?
Yeah, because we're working tomorrow, but tomorrow's not much.
Maybe we'll look at the forecast. It's all dependent on the rain. If it rains, then that's a no-go.
So Jeff, I mean, you heard Nate give him the go-ahead. Are you comfortable with that? Are you good with that?
Yeah, I mean, I've already made the plans for what we're gonna do in the third month and in the fourth month. So there's actually some really big things coming from Parker, and if Nate says that he's good to go, and the positive that came out of that is that Nate's going to be a better team leader than he was before Parker was with him. It's hard. It's hard. He knows he's got a spotlight on him. Mm-hmm. Nate had a spotlight on him for 4 weeks, one that he normally wouldn't have, right?
Right.
Because I'm checking in, I'm looking at the jobs. I got Sean running out and just testing them. I got Sean going back to the jobs that they did. They didn't even know that he's going back, just because I want to know that the progress is being made. And so I think that if Nate says he's good to go, then let's talk about what we're doing next.
Yeah, absolutely. So Parker, just a couple things I've been dying to ask you. What have you been focusing on this week?
Attention to detail. I know when Jeff made comments to Nate, it was not. I know Nate's a huge guy, and he loves to stand up and just take the blame. But I know at the end of the day, it's still my fault, because even if Nate drip something or I drip something, or either one of us or neither one of us should have let that fly, no matter who spilt it, right? So just the attention to detail, I've just been putting a lot of effort into that for sure.
Mm-hmm. And Jeff, in your opinion, is that the right thing he should be focusing on, or is there things he's been lacking on that you really wish?
After the last time I had to talk to him, I would hope so. If he was focusing on trying to get done faster, we'd have an issue. But no, I think it's the right thing to focus on. I think that slowing down, attention to detail. I think that if Parker and Nate got together and they went to go do a job for Parker's dad, Steve would have called me bitching up a storm. I think that if they go and do a job for Steve this coming Friday, Steve wouldn't have anything to say, because they're a lot better together now. And I think that one thing that, because I know his dad, if he leaves the job site and it doesn't look the way that Steve McGee would want it to look, then you might want to stay and fix whatever the problem is. Is that fair to say?
No, we just leave and leave it up to you.
Yeah.
Now, with the actual job itself, Parker, has there been any challenges this week that have just really driven you up the walls?
Hardware store.
Yeah, hardware store got
4,000.
Crybaby.
Let's crybaby.
Well,
Let's
okay,
just back
there's a
this
story
up.
here. What is it?
So, 4,000 square foot hardware store, right? That's a lot. A lot of hand grinding in between the shelves. So we're getting there. We're like, oh, we're in for a long day. And then we pull out the tape measure, and it's actually 6,500 square feet.
So they got a deal.
So somebody had measured wrong?
Someone... Yeah.
No, somebody didn't measure
Yeah,
because he
was-
didn't measure at all.
That was owner CEO Jeff.
So Jeff,
all right. So let me tell.
Let's talk about the things
Tee it
Jeff
up.
needs
let's
to work
talk
on.
about that.
No. Here's what actually happened. Okay, so we had a customer call in that had gotten.
I love how he's like, all right, guys, no, it wasn't
Wait,
that
let
bad.
me-
Let's talk about
Let
it.
me tell you what had happened was. We had a customer call in that wanted to move forward with the floor. It was a pretty expensive floor. It was like $23,000 for the floor or something. It just a project that's normally our average ticket's like around $5 or $7 grand, but it's not uncommon for us to do $20,000 floors. Anyways, I didn't measure the floor. Somebody had already measured it. I just went off of the notes that they had taken, and it was 4,000. And so on the way back from wherever me and Tyler were at, we stopped in, we signed the contract, and we moved on, right? And I didn't even bust a tape measure out because I'm like, I've already paid somebody to measure it. Why would I do it again? Anyways, there was all of these shelves. There's like 20 of them.
Yeah, a lot.
They were all about 3 to 4 feet wide, and they had these bases underneath of them. Well, she wasn't going to remove the sides, just the end caps. Well, when you remove the sides, you can get all the way in. So it created about 4 feet by 40 feet,
Of extra
20
space,
times of extra space. And, truthfully, we probably shouldn't have coated all the way under the shelves because that wasn't part of the estimate. But when we got there, I'm like, well, what am I going to do? We had to. So unfortunately, I bit the bullet on that one a little bit.
He bought
but
lunch for us. That was awesome.
we ate some fried chicken.
So
Awesome.
Jeff, is it fair to say you fucked up on this?
I mean, I have a pretty perfect record.
Oh, come on. Say it. You fucked up
it's
on
a
it.
pretty-
Sounds
it's a-
like you fucked up on
I
it.
don't know if he did, but yeah.
I will take 51.7% of the blame because I didn't actually measure it first. And again, there was some. Hey, this is a good lesson for Parker, right? It's time to start to spin a little bit. I had to run them more material. I had to do that. It was my mistake. My name was on the contract, so it's my job. So I ran them more stuff. And these guys didn't think. I don't think that any of them thought they were going to get done this project in 2 days. What do we have? 8 guys.
6 the first day, then 8 the next.
Anyways, if you average it out, it was an average of 7 guys.
We rocked it though.
7 guys, 6,500 square feet, a lot of cutting in. You want to talk about attention to detail? These guys killed it with attention to detail, and I think it really showed all of them what they were capable of working together as a team to get the job done. So there was a lot of negatives in this particular project, and they were mega crybabies about it, but they all got it done. They all pulled together as a team, and quite frankly, it really showed me what TSR Nation is about. Once again, these guys were able to get it done. So
You'd think in a hardware store you would have enough tape measures to measure the building, right?
Throwing shade. I love it. I love it.
The lady only wanted us out of there. She wanted us out of there in 2 days, so we had to do what we had to do.
So we didn't have time to measure it.
Okay. Well, Parker, okay. Let's reverse the scenario here, all right? Let's say you were the founder, CEO. You were in Jeff's position, and, Jeff did this mistake. What would you have done?
I guess, how are you framing this? If he was a salesman who measured at 4,000 square feet?
Yeah, just switch positions right now. Let's say, Jeff is the one you're following and, to potentially be an owner.
Oh,
and he's live on this podcast and we're following him and he did this mistake. I mean, what would you do?
Yeah, that's a fire for sure. Unless you
going down is my favorite episode.
I'll remember that.
Unless you got the difference of cash, yeah, you're gone. But no,
But do you really mean that, or are you being sarcastic?
No, I mean I'm gonna be honest on one of those that big of a project. I mean that's 2,500 square feet. If you do the math, get an estimate on 2,500 square feet. Let me know what the cost is because it's a lot.
We made $0 on that job.
I don't know. It's definitely a tough situation.
It
Hopefully, I train my guys better.
It would merit. Well, but hey, I mean, I can't say I disagree with you, Parker. I mean,
I can't either. And truthfully, I think that in retrospect, hindsight's 2020. What it told me is don't don't take anybody's measurements as what the reality is. You know, I mean, again, I think if you take out all the shelving and stuff, it probably was dead on to 6,500. If you add those back in, 40 times 4, it was probably very, very close to 4,000. So when we get there and they're not there, they called me. I made the decision to tell them to go all the way in because ultimately at the end of the day, it would have worked. It would have looked substantially better. If they didn't do it all the way into the middle of the shelves the way that I wanted, it probably wouldn't have looked as good. It would have looked kind of tacky.
It probably would have bugged you.
It would have irritated me. So it was worth the extra dollars and labor to make sure that I would, if it was my job, I'd be happy.
So Jeff, don't hold back. How's Tyler doing? How's Parker doing?
We
have people on this show you guys don't even know about. How's Parker doing?
I think that it was he's fitting in well with the guys, which is always important because we got a bunch of ruffians. I think would be the best way to describe them. Nate happens to be one of the ruffians. And,
right.
He's fitting in well. He's we're going to talk about what his plans are next week, and then I think that he's done substantially better job of working through the criticism of the last episode because we really haven't even talked since I was so pissed after the last one that we haven't even talked in like a week and a half.
Wait, are you serious?
Am I serious?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I was that mad. So maybe we can communicate a little bit more now. So, what was the point? If he kept fucking up over the next week and a half, I was going to fire him anyway. So.
Okay, I did not know there was this tension going on.
We're good now.
Mark, this is not your typical fairy tale where it all ends good.
Okay.
I think he was trying to ask you what happened if you did get fired or quit and what you would do with your life. And we came pretty close this last week. So regardless, I think perseverance is key, right? And when you're owning a business, stupid things like this hardware store come up and, it's just you reach adversity and then, what do you guys do about it? He had adversity with Nate. What did he do about it? And I tried to coach him through it right away in the beginning. And then, those two talked and then Nate busted his balls down again for telling him what to do, and then it's how do you respond to that? And how do you work through getting these bad floors that they were doing and then having to go back and fix them and things like that. So
yeah,
I think that he's done a really good job of overcoming adversity.
Okay. And Parker, just, I just always want to ask you this question on this show. Are you still on board?
Absolutely.
That was half-hearted.
I don't know if you meant...
Mark, I don't know if you've heard this enough, but there's no plan B.
I like that. Okay. I will accept that and I can move on.
That's what she said.
Edit that part out. My mom will hear this.
Jeff, even through the, fuck-ups that, Parker's done or been a part of, assisted with, been a culprit in, I don't know, however you want to frame it, but what's one thing you've been impressed by?
Like I said, I think really just the overcoming and handling it, right? So sometimes whenever I see, something wrong, my response might be a little over the top in a negative way because my expectations are so high for these guys. And I think that they all know that if they give me, there's only X amount of attitude they can give back before I just totally lose it, right? Because they were already wrong. If they can't accept that and fix it and move on, then we're going to really have a problem. Mm-hmm. So I think that him and Nate have done a really good job of working through those problems and the adversity, and then more importantly, getting better day in and day out.
Mm-hmm. So Jeff, talk a little bit about this. I know you had set a goal for Parker to get 5 self-gen sales, and also to get 80% Google reviews. Are we still on board with that, or? Yeah,
so I might have missed the boat on that a little bit.
What do you mean?
It's probably a little unrealistic, honestly. So he's out working every single day, 5-6 days a week, and then I'm like, hey, go get 5 sales, in your off time. Like apparently there's no off time. I don't know. So whatever, sissy. So he has gotten 1 sale and 1 pending. So he's 2 of 5. What was probably more realistic on the instead of getting sales, it probably would have been better for me to say, hey, when you're at the job site, generate 10 leads for the month. Talk to the neighbor on either side of every job that you go to and bring us back 10 leads or 10 people that might be interested in getting a coating done since they saw you at the job site. That was probably more realistic, and we're going to change it to that. And then also with the Google reviews, one thing I didn't think about is not everybody has a Gmail. So that has been a bit of a challenge because a lot of people don't like to use Gmail because it sucks.
So talk to me, because, before the show, we're talking about this. Because of Parker, because of this show, there's a new aspect you've incorporated in the company, and it's a 3-day orientation.
Yeah. So when Parker started, there wasn't an orientation. It was kind of like we just threw everybody to the wolves. And as we grow and we get bigger, one of the things I noticed is that there was a lot of people that work for us that I don't know who they are. I would be in this office, or I'd be in Chicago or Bloomington or the Quad City office, and every time I would walk in, there would be somebody who knew me that I didn't know. And I, as an owner, president of the company, whatever you want to call it, it didn't make me feel good that I didn't have some type of relationship with the people working for us. Yeah. And so I was like, that's not the type of company that I want to work for. So what we did is, what I did is a couple weeks ago, we implemented a mandatory orientation. Any TSR location that hires somebody, they don't start until they come to orientation.
Very good.
Yep. And so it's a 3-day. The first day, we start at 9:30. We spend about 4 hours in here in the classroom. We go over organizational chart. We talk about pay scales for every single person in here. We talk about who to go to, what you should do, all of things. I would like to think that as Blake came out of orientation, which is, we're going to mention him here in a minute, just that much more knowledge about who we are, what we do. Then and then in the afternoon, they actually coat their own parking block. Mm-hmm. So they get
hands-on experience.
A little bit of hands-on, not a lot, just a little bit of familiarity with some tools, familiarity with the chemicals, those kinds of things. And then the second day, they actually go out and they work in their job. So orientation might have production, sales, admin, whoever is in here, but they're all going to do the same thing. And then the second day, they're going to go do their job and job shadow a crew. And then the third day, they're going to come back in. And by the way, they have to take notes through all of this. There's like a 25 question test on Wednesday when they come back at 9:30.
Yeah, I really want to go into this in more detail in the next episode. I think this was good just to kind of give people something else to look forward to, because I think that's a great aspect you've incorporated in the company. Because, to your point that you have all these people working for you and you don't know them. I think sometimes companies reach a level to where they don't care who works for them. It's just about the bottom dollar. So for me to hear you say that, Jeff, that means a lot to me, because we own a business together. So, right. I learned from you, Yeah. I also learned what not to do from you as well. But, I do learn from you in a good sense as well.
Don't tell me what those things are.
Oh, I won't. We ain't got time for that. But, let's close out this show with couple things here. So now that Parker has graduated from Nate, you are going to get your own trailer, you're going to get your own truck, and you're going to be your own crew. And now, Jeff, you're going to assign 2 people with Parker who he's going to be overseeing, correct?
Yeah, so we actually have a pretty cool thing that's going to happen next week. So on 8/31, Parker is, he's getting his own truck and trailer, a brand new trailer. I can't trust him with a new truck. So
okay.
But he does get a brand new trailer. And so that will tell me, can he keep a trailer clean? What does this trailer look like in 30 days? Okay. I will be looking at that. That's one thing that I can't stand, is when I, put together an $80,000 or $100,000 rig and then it looks like it's trashed within 30 days. So he's also getting, his second will be Blake Lawson, who shortly after Parker started, Blake was part of one of the first orientation classes. And so Blake has been out working under Wink for about the last, 4 to 6 weeks. So he came from Wink, Blake came from Wink, and so those two should be able to jive together fairly well, right? And then Parker's also going to have to train a brand new guy.
So, Parker, as usual, man, it goes back to you. What's going through your mind, bro? Because that's a lot of responsibility all of a sudden.
I'm worried about backing up the truck and trailer.
I'm glad Jeff took that out of your responsibility and give you your van.
No, he's got a truck and trailer.
Didn't you just say he's not gonna get a truck?
No, he's not getting a brand new truck.
He's not getting a brand new. Okay.
No, the easiest way to learn is by messing up. I know Jeff doesn't want to hear that, but this will really show me if I'm ready for my own crew or not. So I can say it. I can say it all I want. People can say it. I know Nate thinks I'll do well, but he can say it. I can say it. We all can say it. But at the end of the day, we'll find out.
If you have any problems, you can call Wink or I, so you're good. You probably call Wink first.
He's probably gonna call Wink.
It's all right. I'll be number 2.
Yeah, how do you want to take that phone call? Hey, Wink, I can't back the truck up.
Turn it opposite.
But no, it's been great having you on here, Nate, because I was really impressed with, even through the tough conversation we had in the beginning about your mess ups. But I don't think you took it that way. I think you really latched on to this is an opportunity to learn and to grow. And as I said in the beginning, knowing Jeff, if you didn't take it that way, you'd be gone. And I'm sure you know that as well.
I know. Yeah, I knew. I knew I had to, shape up or ship out. So
yeah, very good. So you guys, we have the next marker set here for Parker, and we can't wait to see what you do with it, man. I'm sure it's
really like the first true test. I mean, we've had some tests, like no big deal, but now he's the boss. So, and the next week he gets 1 week of being the boss, and then the next week he's got to train somebody to do what he does. So it's gonna be a little adversity there for him. I'm looking forward to see how he handles it.
This has been another episode of When I Grow Up. We'll see you guys next time.